I do want to get to Knicks Heat real quick, and I want to start it this way, because I'm broadcasting the game tomorrow, and with RJ and Ryan Rucco, and because we're the early game, we'll have a nice little open. You know, when you do the late games, you might get 90 seconds. Sometimes you don't even get an open. We got a nice little open here. Okay, Knicks coming off a win. We'll start with them. Nekias, if there was one thing in the open tomorrow that you would want to talk about with the Knicks, what would it be?
I think it is a combination of the decisiveness from Jalen Brunson. Also, he just played all 48, so that's cool. But I think it's the decisiveness of Jalen Brunson. And I think the ways that the Knicks made sure that he had space to operate with. Because I think so much of what Miami's game plan has been is, hey, we're going to throw length on him. A little bit later in the series has been Gabe Vincent on him, but we are going to have help peeled in. We're going to make sure that you can't pick which side you want to go to. You can only win in this way. You're going to be contested when you do it. And I think with the combination of Jalen Brunson operating faster, we got some RJ Barrett space one pass away, but as they flow into this empty corner pick and roll with Jalen Brunson, he's now cutting to the right corner. And so now the help is turned, and now Jalen Brunson can go to his left or his right. And then he's attacking that space immediately. I think the way that they opened it up with a little bit of cutting and relocation, emptying the corner a little bit more, and then just flat out picking on worse defenders, it felt like more than they have all series long. I think that was the big thing that kind of opened up Jalen Brunson.
And by the way, the Heat are still up in this series 3-2. What do they have to do tonight, Steve, for them? No. How would you open with the Heat? How would you sort of summarize what has worked for them in this series and where they can improve off of their Game 5 performance?
Well, I don't want to bounce right off Nekias' point, but their defense, their help against Randall and Brunson are huge. It's their ball movement and their ability to generate shots. Their ball movement and cutting and shot making against the Knicks' early help and rotations has been the most fun part of this series for me. Even non-Jimmy Butler, when they can get the Knicks to react, when they can force rotation, they're getting to their drive and kick because the Knicks can't load up like they had in the Cavs series or like we've seen them at times in the series. When the Miami's been able to make quick decisions and get the Knicks scrambling, they usually get good looks. If they're able to get looks outside of just Jimmy Butler double teams, it opens a whole lot up for them. So that's the one for me. If they can make the Knicks defense pay and they can open up shots for themselves, they're going to be in a good spot.
So even in the loss last night, it was 52-8 in terms of bench scoring, and it's 168-70 now for the Heat in the series. It's obviously been a factor throughout. Is that a gap that you guys are concerned about, or is it like Jalen's playing 48 minutes, Grimes playing 48 minutes, and like it doesn't really matter because it's like the best guys are out there?
I think that was Thibs answering the question about the bench gap, honestly. Yeah. Like, okay, well, Emmanuel quickly hasn't given us what we thought he would offensively. I think before he got hurt, it was a pretty good defensive series for him. He went down, they tried Deuce McBride, and the Heat pretty much just did not guard him in the little bit of minutes that he played. And it's like, all right, fine. Our backup point guard is also Jalen Brunson. We're not dealing with this. We appreciate what Josh Hart does, and boy, a lot of fouls last night, but we appreciate what Josh Hart does. The Heat are not guarding him. Quentin Grimes, they're still going to help off of you. They aren't going to help off you to that degree. We need you. We need your spacing. We need your defense. So I think that's kind of been how Thibs has approached it. And I do think the Knicks are going to need big contributions from their bench in some kind of way, even if it isn't on the scoreboard. Will the defense be there? Can you get Obi Toppin free in transition? Like, what kind of defense do we get from Quentin Grimes? Like, how do you open things up in that way? His usage as a screener as well. Like, I think the bench is going to have to close the gap some if they want to tie the series up.
You guys are hoops junkies. I want to end with this question. I feel like we've been treated to some incredible basketball in these playoffs. Individual performances, Steph Curry's Game 7, Devin Booker throughout, Kawhi early. Just like not a lot missing from these playoffs. And then we have the Knicks Heat series.
Like, my hot take is that like I've had more fun with Celtics, Sixers, Heat, Knicks, Nuggets, Nuggets, Suns than I have with Lakers, Warriors in terms of like breaking stuff down. That's my hot take. I think there's been a lot, especially with just what these defenses are trying to do in Heat, Knicks in particular, and the way that they're trying to open up space, the way that the other teams are trying to restrict space. Like, that's been a lot of fun for me. That could just be me and my nerd brain and being keyed in on defense.
I say, is that also their fans are less annoying about the ref shit? Because it feels like that's
no.
series.
I will say like staunch competition in the second round overall, but no, you're not getting a relief of ref talk with Heat or Knicks Twitter. I can personally attest to that one.
It's probably because there are those games where neither team can make a shot and each team doesn't score for 4 minutes. So I can understand if someone said that. I've enjoyed the battle, had real hoops.
Oh my God. By the way, I'm excited about calling the game. Anytime you get a playoff game, it's gonna be great. I think viewing one of these games, which I went to game 2 in New York. I think viewing these games in person are a much different experience than viewing the games on television. I'll just say that. That makes sense.